Hello, I'm Chaparral from Chaparral Motorsports, and today I want to introduce you to one of my favorite tools for installing exhaust springs or anything of the springed nature. Now, I have busted so many knuckles over the years because I didn't have the proper tool. So the busted knuckles have come from having to attach a spring to a motorcycle or an automobile or anything that requires a spring. So with a spring such as this, you hook the spring around one side of something and you stretch the second part of the spring over onto the second fixed point that you want this attached to. Now, the typical shade tree mechanic is gonna grab a pair of vice grips or a pair of pliers. They're gonna grab onto the top part of this spring and they're gonna pull it and attempt to make the attachment. Now, I can tell you from personal experience that that doesn't always work and it takes multiple tries. Today, I want to introduce you to the unit spring hook. This is a spring puller. This is a small version and this is the large version, depending on what type of applications you're using. These are very inexpensive and they're gonna save you a busted knuckle, so just one use will absolutely pay for itself. The neat part about these spring hooks is they are perfectly and ergonomically shaped to do the job of attaching a spring. So on this YZ250, we're gonna demonstrate this by installing the exhaust header spring. So we're gonna go to the manifold and to the header, and that's gonna keep this header in place. So we're gonna slip one part of the spring around the head itself. We're then gonna grab our spring tool, stick it into the loop here, and pull it up and over the head pipe. That's gonna allow us to seamlessly and without busting our knuckles, attach this spring to the motorcycle. Now, this process is gonna be the same for any spring that you want to attach. Now, just recently, we installed a 14-foot trampoline in our backyard. It arrived and it did not have a spring hook puller. So I went to my trusty toolbox and pulled out my motorcycle exhaust pipe spring puller, and we went ahead and installed the hundreds of springs that went around this 14-foot trampoline. It was pretty intense, but if I wouldn't have had one of these special tools, that job would have been a lot harder. So just saying that this tool can come in handy for lots of different jobs, not just doing exhaust springs. All right, so we're gonna take our spring right here and we are gonna set it up against the head right here. Go ahead and plug one end into place. The goal here now is to stretch the opposite end of the spring up and over this eyelet that is welded onto the head pipe. I'm gonna start off with a small one and show you that it's gonna be a little bit more tricky or a little bit more work, if you will, in order to use this one. But I'm gonna go ahead and arrange my spring hook so that it's gonna be in the right orientation. I'm now gonna grab this and I'm gonna pull it up and over that eyelet, securing it to the opposite side. Now, if I was just using a pair of vice grips, this procedure would have been much more difficult. Now, I have a lot of space to work with here, so if I wanted it a little bit easier, I could have actually used the larger spring hook tool, and that job would have been twice as easy. Now I'm gonna go ahead and show this process once again. I'm gonna go ahead and release the spring hook, because that's the other very fun function that this spring tool does, is releasing these springs can be very challenging, if you will. Once you get it released, sometimes it launches into mid-air and that's just not fun. So now that the spring's released, I'm gonna go ahead and use the larger spring tool. I'm gonna come in here and I'm going to grab the spring, pull it forward, and release it. This is a surefire way to be able to attach springs to your motorcycle, your car, or anything else in your life without busting a knuckle. This is the unit small and large hook spring tool, available at Chaparral Motorsports. And there you have it. If you want to make the installation of springs on anything in your life way easier, you need to get a set or at least one of the unit spring tools, the small tool or the large tool. You can see there's a little bit more girth involved in the large tool, which gives you a little bit more leverage. But if you're working in confined spaces, the small tool will be the one you're gonna wanna use. Again, these are less than $10 currently, and they are gonna save you from getting busted knuckles. I'm Kyle Bratch from Chaparral Motorsports. If you like what you saw today, give it a thumbs up. And if you want more action like this coming directly to your inbox, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell. Until next time, as always, take care and ride safe out there.